Good morning, children. In today's class of biology, cell, the basic unit of life, I am continuing this part of the cells that we have already observed in the grass blade. How can we observe? We observe with the help of the microscope, isn't it? What did you see there? We have seen the rectangular shaped epidermal cells and also dumbbell shaped stomatal cells, isn't it? The two types of cells were seen in the grass blade. Also, if you find the different kinds of the grass, that is the leaves, if you observe the different kinds of the leaves and observe under the microscope, you can see the epidermal cells and stomatal cells over there, and in every leaf you can find the nucleus within. Okay, so this is about the observation of the leaves and the stomata and present in the leaves. You can observe under the microscope. Next, in today's class, you are going to observe, that is learn the transverse section of the stem. What is the transverse section of the stem? How can you observe when you take a tender stem and observe under the microscope? What are the different parts you can locate in it? You are going to observe here. So you find the outer epidermal layer, which is called as a cuticle, and inner mesodermal layer, and the most inner one is the endodermal layer. So three dermal layers, that is the stem is surrounded with the three layers. They are epidermis, outer epidermis, inner endodermis, and in the middle there is a mesodermal layer. So what it is, you will be seeing on the board with the help of a neat diagram. You observe it carefully and understand how it is under the microscope. Okay, children, start. So in today's class I am showing you the transverse section of the dicot stem. Dicots, you already know that the seed is enclosed with two cotyledons in them. As well, you know that mango, groundnut, these are all the dicots. Okay, so let's see the transverse section of the dicot stem. Transverse section of dicot stem. When you observe the transverse section of the dicot stem, it contains three layers. How many layers, children? It contains three layers. Just a minute. So this is outermost layer of the cell. The cell of the stem, okay, plant cell, outermost layer of the plant cell. So it contains it is ciliated completely. It is called as cuticle, which is a protective layer. It forms a protective layer of the cell. Okay, children, likewise you have to draw continuously. See, children, this is the outer epidermal layer. What it is? Epidermis. That is cuticle. It gives shape to the cell. It protects the cell. Okay, and inner layer is mesoderm or hypodermis. It is also called as hypodermis or mesodermis. It contains a granular structure in it. It is called as chlorenchyma. It's filled with the chlorenchyma region. It produces, that is food to the cell. Is it clear? Photosynthesis part takes place in this region. So this is hypodermis, or it is also called as mesodermis. Epidermis and mesodermis. Okay, and next, third part, this is a chlorenchyma, where photosynthesis process takes place through this region, the part of the cell. Okay, chlorenchyma. And next, the innermost cell region. This is so I'll draw here, you can see. This is the endodermal layer. So what is this part, children? This is the endodermal layer. It consists of the vascular bundles in it, and this is the parenchyma region. Vascular bundles, xylem and phloem bundles are present over in this endodermal layer. So this is endodermis. Endodermis. Here you find the vascular bundles. Okay. They are projected towards inside the ground tissue. Okay children, so you can draw carefully seeing the board. See, this is the ground tissue children, this is the hollow structure inside. Hollow structure. You can find this is the vascular bundles, xylem and phloem vessels protruding inside with the endodermal layer with a hollow structure which is called as ground tissue or pith. It is also called as pith. Is it clear children? Ground tissue or pith. Okay, and next. So once again I repeat, the dicot stem, it contains the three layers. The outermost layer is epidermis called as cuticle. It gives the protection to the cell and size and shape to the plant cell. And next the inner layer, the middle layer is the mesodermal layer, also called as hypodermis. In between there is a parenchyma cells, or these are present inside. They prepare the food for the plant, in which the photosynthesis process takes place. Where the plastids are arranged, they contain the chromoplasts and chloroplasts also. Chromoplasts are colorless, whereas the chloroplasts are green in color, which help in the preparation of food for the plant, and hence in this region of the mesodermal layer, the photosynthesis process takes place. Inside the mesodermal layer, there is an endodermal layer, and these are the parenchyma region, where you find the vessels, that is xylem and phloem vessels, which conduct food and water for the plant, where the conduction of the food and water for the plant takes place in this region of the ground tissue, where the xylem and phloem vessels are present. They conduct the water through the stem itself. As well you know that the stem conducts water that is absorbed by the roots to various parts of the plant. So these are the xylem and phloem vessels which involve in the conduction of water and food for the plant in turn. Okay, so this is the ground tissue inside. It is called as the pith. Okay, so these are the three layers, that is the first layer is epidermis, second layer is mesodermis, and the third one is endodermal layer, and the fourth one inside the hollow structure is called as the pith or the ground tissue. Hope you have understood this children. So this is the when you observe the transverse section of the dicot stem, you can observe these features clearly in the under the microscope. Okay. So next I'll tell you about the different types of cells, that is blood cells, and also the present in the human body. Different types of blood cells in the human body, and also different types of cells in the human body. Cells are of different shapes and sizes, that you know it. So what is the major, that is the shape of the cell is related to its function. The shape of the cell is related to its function of the body part where it is present. If it is present in the kidneys, its function is for the excretion. If the cells are of the blood cells, they help for the circulation of the blood. If it is in the kidneys, they help for the excretion, that you as well know. And it is if the cells are of different form organs of different parts perform different functions. So it is the shape or the size of the cell is related to its function. The size of the cell is represented to the number of the cells present in the body, but not the size of the organism. Is it clear, children? So that's what you are going to learn in today's class. About the first, you will learn about the different types of cells in the human body. Different types of cells in the human body. Smooth muscle cell, striped muscle cell, nerve cell. So these are all the different cells that are present in our body that I am going to explain you in this class now. See children, page number, it is of 21. You can see the page number 21. So observe the pictures carefully and understand how the different types of cells are there. Okay, the first one is smooth muscle cell. Smooth muscle cell. It is spindle shaped like this. It contains a nucleus in between and cytoplasm. Nucleus embedded in the cytoplasm. Okay children, this is the smooth muscle cell. Next you see the striped muscle cell, how it is. Striped muscle cell. So the stripes, you can easily identify the stripes over there, and from which you can identify the muscles and where you can find the nucleus in between here, where there is cytoplasm, cytoplasmic granules embedded in the cytoplasm. So these are striped muscles. Okay, next I'll show you the bone cell. So the striped muscle, how it is there, you observe on the board children. So this is the nucleus in the smooth muscle cell, cytoplasm, and this is the cell membrane. As you well know that only the cell membrane is present in the animal cell or the human cell. Next, this is the striped muscle cell. This is the nucleus. This is the cell membrane. And this is the cytoplasm. So, the cells, if you observe, they are of different shapes. Now, you will see about the bone cell and also the nerve cell. Bone cells, so here the muscles, they help for giving forming the energy in our body, isn't it? And next, you develop the muscles, energizing yourself. And next you will see the cells of the bones. Bones and muscles help for the locomotion. Is it clear? You know very well. It is of star-shaped. Bone cell. How it is, I will show you now. See children, this is the bone cell. How it is. It is of star-shaped cells with the nucleus embedded in it. Inside. with a cytoplasm within. This is a bone cell. Easily you can draw this bone cell. Is it clear? Now, you know this is a nucleus and this is cytoplasm. Next, we'll see about the nerve cell, human nerve cell, which mainly performs the function of transferring the impulses from the brain to the sensory organs and from the various sensory organs to the brain in turn. So this is the arrangement or this shape of the cell is elongated in nature. Okay, so elongated structure. The structure of the nerve cell is elongated. Now we'll see the structure of the nerve cell. See children, this is the nerve cell. It is elongated in nature. How is it? It is elongated structure. It consists of the cell body. What is this? It is a cell body. And this is continuation process. This is axon. What is it? Called as axon. And these are dendrites. This small hair-like structures that arises from the cell body. They are called as dendrites. And the cell body consists of the cytoplasm, filled with the cytoplasm and the nucleus embedded in the center, and it contains the granules called as Nissl granules. What are they called, children? They are called as Nissl granules. Note down the parts and draw it in your notebooks neatly. And next, these are the nodes of Ranvier. Nodes of Ranvier. You will be studying about this detailing in your higher classes. This is a myelin sheath. Myelin sheath. These are nerve terminals. What are these? These are nerve terminals. In this class, you are going to understand the shape of the nerve cell in the human body. The shape of the nerve cell in the human body. It is a nerve cell in the human body. Nerve cell in human body. How it is it? It is elongated. It is elongated and star-shaped cell. It contains the granules. The cell body is star-shaped and this is the cell body with axon which is elongated and terminates, nerve terminals are elongated along with the axon and contains, the cell body contains the dendrites, hair-like structures called as dendrites, which transfers the messages to the sense organs and the sense organs to the different parts of the body, that is from the sense organs to the brain again. So in fact this is the nerve cell which performs the sensory function in our body, transfers the messages from the brain to the different organs and from the organs to the brain in turn again. So this is the structure of the nerve cell. Now you will see about the different types of blood cells in our body. What are the different blood cells in our body? Okay children? Blood cells. Blood cells in human beings are of three types, that is RBC, WBC and thrombocytes. RBC are red blood corpuscles. They are called as red blood cells. So blood cells in human body are divided into three types. They are RBC, WBC and thrombocytes. WBC and thrombocytes. Okay. RBC are also called as erythrocytes. They are also called as erythrocytes. WBC are also called as leukocytes. Leukocytes. And the third one are thrombocytes. Okay. RBC are called as red blood corpuscles. They are called as red blood corpuscles. WBC are called as white blood corpuscles or white blood cells. They are also called as white blood cells. Okay. And next, the third variety of the blood cells are thrombocytes or blood platelets. They are also called as blood platelets. Okay, here in this class you are going to learn about the RBC and WBC. What are RBC and what are WBC? Okay, so RBC, red blood cells, they are mainly important for the red color of the blood. Blood is red in color due to the hemoglobin, a protein component present in our blood. Okay, so blood is red in color due to the blood is red in color due to the RBCs. RBC, structure of RBC are round, spherical, disc-like and so on. Okay, RBC are round, disc-like and spherical also. So sometimes they are lobed. This is disc-like or spherical. Okay children, so this is the structure of the RBC cells. Okay, RBC, if you observe, they are round, shape is round and they contain the cytoplasm in it and they contain cell membrane. Parts are cell membrane and cytoplasm. Cell membrane and cytoplasm. And blood is red in color due to the presence of RBC cells in our body. They are RBC, that is hemoglobin, which give red pigmentation to the blood. RBC count is less, it leads to anemia. If RBC count is less, then it leads to anemia. There are more than 5 to 6 millions, that is millions of RBC, that is red blood cells in our body. It ranges from 4.2 to 6 millions in our body. Okay children, that is about the RBC. So it varies, the red blood cells varies from adults to children and also from male to female also. The count varies, the RBC cells varies, the cell count varies, it differs. Okay, so that is about the RBC. And coming to the WBC children, that is white blood corpuscles. White blood corpuscles are again divided into 3 types: eosinophils, basophils and neutrophils. Now you are going to learn about the white blood cells. They are called as white blood cells, or white blood corpuscles or leukocytes. They are divided into 3 types. They are eosinophils, basophils and neutrophils. At first, they are divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes. First, white blood cells are divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes. Okay, granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are again divided into 3 types. They are basophils, eosinophils and neutrophils. Granulocytes are divided into eosinophils, basophils and neutrophils. Basophils, eosinophils and neutrophils. And agranulocytes are divided into 2 types. They are monocytes and lymphocytes. Monocytes and lymphocytes. Agranulocytes are divided into two types. They are monocytes and lymphocytes. Is it visible, children? Once again I tell you, WBC are divided into granulocytes in which the granules are present, agranulocytes in which in the cell the granules are absent. In granulocytes are divided into basophils, eosinophils and neutrophils. Agranulocytes are divided into monocytes and lymphocytes. How is the cell structure? I will show you one by one now. So first one is basophils. Basophils are bilobed structure. Basophils are bilobed structure. See here carefully. This is the cell structure of the basophils. Okay. Basophils are bilobed structure. This is cytoplasm. The nucleus is bilobed. Nucleus is bilobed. Contains the cytoplasm and cytoplasmic granules inside. This is the structure of basophils. A nucleus is constricted. This is the constrictions shown in the nucleus. These are the constrictions that are shown in the nucleus of the basophils. Okay, children? So these are the constrictions. Hope you can observe how I am drawing. So this is the constrictions that you can see. The nucleus is constricted in such a manner like this. These are the constrictions. So this is bilobed. Basophil, the nucleus is bilobed. Or sometimes it may be the trilobed also, and mostly it is bilobed. Bilobed nucleus. See children, this is the basophils or the granulocytes. The cell contains the nucleus which is constricted and it is bilobed nucleus with the cytoplasm, and in this contains a protein called heparin. Basophils contain a protein called heparin. It is a coagulant, a coagulant which helps in coagulation of blood. Helps in coagulation of blood. So basophils help for the coagulation of the blood. Okay. Next about the eosinophils. Eosinophils are bilobed. Often they may be trilobed also. They are present of 3% of the eosinophil cells are present in our body. These eosinophils, they form the allergic senses. That is, if the count of eosinophils are more in our body, it leads to allergy in our body. So it leads to allergic responses in our body. They lead to allergic responses. That's why you say that if you are suffering from asthma, the count of the eosinophils, if it is high, it leads to the asthma in your body. Next, neutrophils. The cells, 60% of the blood cells contain the neutrophils. They are multi-lobed. See the structure of the nucleus. The nucleus is multi-lobed here. So it is also constricted. It is constricted, embedded, the cytoplasm, the nucleus is embedded in the cytoplasm. And next, these neutrophils, they always increase in number. They die and again they increase in number in our body. They are multi-lobed. And coming to the agranulocytes, they contain nucleus. It is either round and it does not contain granules inside. Nucleus is large. Nucleus is large. Is it clear? No granules is present inside. So these agranulocytes mainly they help. So the smallest cell that is present in our body produces antibodies that protect our body from the disease causing germs, that protect our body from the disease causing germs. So this is the structure of monocytes and lymphocytes. Hope you have understood, children. Once again I repeat, children. So the blood cells are of three types, mainly RBC, WBC and thrombocytes. RBC means red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. They are also called as erythrocytes. White blood cells are called as leukocytes or white blood corpuscles, and thrombocytes are blood platelets. And here the white blood cells mainly, you know that they are divided into granulocytes and agranulocytes. If you take about the red blood cells gives red color to the blood because of the content, that is pigment hemoglobin present in our blood. Blood is red in color due to the presence of red blood cells in our body. And next, coming to the white blood cells. White blood cells are granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are the cells in which the granules are present. Agranulocytes, the name itself tells that they do not contain granules in them. The nucleus is large and they protect our body from the disease causing germs. Next, the white blood cells mainly they protect our body from the disease causing germs, completely all the white blood cells. If there are basophils, these are the bilobed and the nucleus is constricted, and this basophils, these containers protein called the heparin, which helps for the coagulation of the blood. And next, eosinophils, they are 3% in our body blood cells, and they causes the allergic responses to our body. And next, coming to the neutrophils, they are multi-lobed. They are present about 60% in our body, and these neutrophils mainly they increase in number. Even if they die again, they increase in the number. That is about the blood cells in our body. Blood cells always vary in size and shape and structure. The size and the shape of the cells depend upon its function. It is related to its function. The size or the shape of the cell is related to its function. The size of the cell is as small as a millimeter, that is of a millimeter of a meter, and as large as a few centimeters.